So, and it was, to me, the reason why I wanted to, raise this question was because when I first started, going out with Kenneth, it was interesting to see, that what Japanese, like general public find it intriguing was different from what Americans, like, Kenneth finds it interesting. And so that's why I kind of wanted to touch on that, and vice versa. So, yeah. And for you, Kenneth, like, to me, it's interesting that, like, I had very little knowledge of anime, even though it's my country's Japanese animation. Yeah. But I knew very, like, I guess the very basic knowledge, I had very basic understanding of Japanese animation, like things that we watched growing up, like Doraemon.
Yeah, it's very family friends.
Yeah, family friendly
anime in Japan.
Very PG, very, things that parents are like, okay, you guys can watch this because it has good ethics and it's kind of fun and friendly, but nothing further than that, I guess. And what, so yeah.
And then I've kind of shattered that.
I didn't.
I
don't know if shattered, but like it was a different perspective, I guess.
Yeah, I guess a lot of the stuff that I introduced Rina to was the anime that made it over to America, which obviously stuff like Doraemon, stuff like Detective Conan, I guess they call it Case Closed in English. That stuff never really took off in America. The only kind of real mainstream family-friendly show that took off was hi Alberta, was Pokemon, right? That Pokemon is kind of like all-age friendly in Japan as well, right? And then that also got popular here. But for the most part, like internationally, a lot of the anime that got popular was stuff that shows or airs on TV at like midnight or at 2 or 3 in the morning in Japan.
Yeah.
was it true for you, Yoki-san, or?
That's really true. So actually, what's like anime, which is popular in the US, is usually not popular in Japan.
Right, or it's kind of sometimes like frowned upon, like embarrassing or shameful, or like
kind of. So I was that kind of person before I went to the US. So I was thinking the person who is watching anime is definitely otaku people in Japan, and being otaku is kind of, it's not cool.
I guess it's frowned upon.
Like in Japan, and I believe in that way, that moment, like 5 or 6 years ago. But after I came to Los Angeles, then everyone, not only American, but also Chinese, Indian, like everyone, what they ask me is anime. First, that's anime.
That's
so
what
like,
I was surprised about too.
Yeah, like, oh my God, so I have to know more than them, but actually
that's
me.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're so disappointed because, Japanese must know everything about anime, but I know Pokemon a little bit and Doraemon, but what is, like, I had no idea. Even I didn't watch Ghost in the Shell, and Akira, but
right.
Really deep story animation is very popular in the US, but it couldn't be popular in Japan because of the showing time, like midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. What? Right? And also our kind of culture. It's also stereotype. The person who is watching anime is otaku. That's stereotype. But I had that. Yeah, but now it's changing, and also anime, which is popular in the US, opened my eyes because so many good stories in there.
Right.
Sometimes much better than movies. So I found out like, there is definitely something I can learn from anime. Yeah. That's why I started to watch anime after I came to the United States.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm on the same page with you. Yeah, I'm still learning, you know.
Right? Yeah. Like I always ask my friends, American friends, oh, so okay, so what's your like favorite anime, and what is the list? Like if you give me 10 list, the top 10 anime, please give it to me. Then they gave me a lot, like more than 10, of course. So I have so many lists, but I still not.
What was like the popular? Was it like Naruto とか One Piece とか
Sure, yeah, but
Dragon Ball?
for I feel like those Naruto, One Piece, the most popular anime in the US is already boring for really deep fans. I think everyone knows that. So like I feel they think they should give me something more interesting. So yeah, of course I know Naruto, of course I know One Piece, and I know it's very big, huge in the US. But they try to give me something small, minor, not popular.
Right.
But they believe they love that. So
Right.
sometimes
yes.
I have no idea, like, what is that? And just Google it, and like 20 or 30 years ago, you know, it's really old anime, but maybe the story is really good. Like Akira. Like it's 30 or 40 years ago it came out and still looks really new. And it's actually had it said 2020 Tokyo Olympic is cancelled.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the original manga, right?
They're doing the Akira reference.
Same thing is happening right now. It's actually already cancelled for this year. So, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And specifically those sort of shows, you know, animes that like otaku, you know, finds it interesting or intriguing. Those are precisely the shows that you like as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because I guess from my perspective, right, like I didn't really have that sort of stigma or like preconceived notion that these types of shows or what was really surprising that you told me, Rina, was like certain styles of drawing, right? Like certain character designs are specifically meant for like the late night crowd. And so like one of my favorite shows is a show called Clannad. You know, yeah, Clannad, yeah. Which is have you heard of it, Hiroki, or?
Clannad?
Yeah.
Clannad. It's Nakige. They call it the crying. It's the game that makes you cry. It's like based off of a game.
Yeah. What's
つまりエロゲーならぬ泣きゲー
I see. Wow, oh my God, it's so, wow. Oh yeah.
Kyoto Animation?
Yeah. So for people who might be watching who don't know what the show is, right? Like it's very unique because it's actually an anime series, right? So it's like two seasons long. That's based on what's called a visual novel, which is like think of it almost like a Japanese anime take on a choose your own adventure story. You know, like you kind of read the story, some pictures pop up of the characters that talk, and yeah, that's it, Clannad, yeah, exactly. You know, like there's voiceover, a bit of sound effects, music, and whatnot. And they kind of tell a very, very long-running story. And the thing is, though, that visual novels have a very strong pornography correlation to it. Like not all, it's one of those things like not every square is a rectangle, but every rectangle is a square. In this case, you know, not all visual novels are pornography, but a lot of pornography type games like that are visual novels. And so the drawing style, it reminds, this is what I learned from Rina, which blew me away, that just the drawing style alone looks like the sort of very 18 plus manga you see in the back corner of like 7-Eleven.
そう、7-Eleven とかの店頭に置いてある like this, you know, the magazines and a little bit like rated R stuff that you would see, you know,
rated X
stuff. I mean, which they don't anymore. They used to.
Yeah,
in
and
Japan,
they
they
don't
don't
have
carry
it
it anymore, but they used to. So I was like, and then Kenneth said, "This is my favorite." So I was like, "Oh," then this is like, I don't know, like 2 months of being in a relationship. So I was like, "Oh my God, this person actually likes this sort of stuff," and I was like, so scared. And then he said, like my I've seen it to my, show it to my family. I was like, "Oh my God, you showed it to your family." そりゃ大変だ. I was like, "Oh my gosh," and I was like, "Okay, well, I mean, I've got to like I've got to get to know this person, so I'm gonna take the time to watch this show." And then it was very different. It was actually nothing sort of, like erotic or graphic or whatever. It was more, if anything, very slice of life, beautiful story, about high school life. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, the most explicit thing that happens in the whole show is that the main couple kiss. Like that's it. Like there's absolutely no nudity, there's absolutely no sex, anything else like that. But because of the drawing style, it implies that there is, right? Which is crazy. But then, and then Hiroki, this is something that you and I would get because we're both directors, right? Like even the way you visually show the characters, you visually tell the story, right? Can give a feeling of whether it's supposed to be more lewd or more innocent and cute.
Yeah.
And so you have these like very, very like you've got that specific drawing style. The camera angles are never like, oh yeah, focus on the tits or anything like that. It's never like it's never depicting the women in a very sexual manner.
Camera angles?
Exactly, the camera angles. Yeah. And so it's this weird sort of like disconnect almost where like the drawing style implies something lewd, but then the story, the camera angles, everything else like that is just straight up like it's a drama and a comedy. Yeah.
I was like bawling by the end of it. Yeah, story. Well, I don't want to take away, or I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah.
2000.
Yes, he's on. Yes, he's actually my friend on Facebook, and then good to see you, Masato-san, Sunomiya-san. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, I mean, like, look, now it makes it sound like I'm judging the show, like the design of it, and I feel terrible. But I was like genuinely a little bit worried when I first saw the design.
It's not judgmental.
Well, maybe I might get the same opinion, the feeling if the someone who I'm dating introduced me, oh, this is my favorite show, then okay, well, let's see. Maybe.
No, but the thing is, I don't really feel like you are making like an unfair judgment or anything else like that, because that's like to give an American example, right? That's equivalent to meeting somebody and then maybe like 2 or 3 dates in, you guys are hanging out and he pulls up Pornhub and says, hey, this video on here has a beautiful story and like the cinematography is great, and it's just like, well, everything about the situation leads you to believe that it's going in a very different direction.
That's true. And now because I had a 5 years experience in the US, especially LA, so I totally understood how many people are so involved in anime.
Right.
With American
I was
people.
surprised the celebrities like, animes as well, and yeah.
So that's why now I can accept that, of course. But like 5 or 6 years ago, before I came to LA, if someone, American people, showed me this show as their favorite, then I should be surprised. Oh, really?
Hi, Psycho Hoko Chip.
Psycho Choco Chip.
Choco Chip. I like Choco Chip. Let's go. So, yeah, on that same vein, I guess because, as I guess a Japanese individual, you interpret things differently. Even if movies have good, even if it has a really good story, and even if it's, for example, like indie films, right? Like Japanese indie films, like そのShion-san, そのShion監督, right? Or Ninagawa Mika 監督, right? Helter Skelter, 最近の人間失格, no longer human. Yeah, you have the book, ne?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
It's just, it's, you know,